Watch this 24 hours before it clicks. You know what's interesting? Right now, as you're watching this, you're standing at a threshold. You can feel it, can't you? Something's different, not in the world, in you. There's this moment that happens before everything changes. It's not the change itself, it's the moment before, like the silence before thunder. You're in that silence right now. Most people miss it completely. They're so busy trying to understand, trying to figure it out, trying to make it happen. But you can't make this happen. It happens to you. Or rather, it doesn't happen at all. It just becomes obvious. 24 hours. Why 24 hours? Because that's how long it takes for what you just heard to stop being words and start being real. Not because time is real, but because your mind needs that long to stop fighting. You've been preparing for this your whole life without knowing it. Every confusion, every question, every moment when things didn't make sense, all of that was leading here, to this threshold, to right now. Here's what's happening in you at this moment. Your old way of seeing the world is cracking. Not broken yet, just cracking, like ice in spring. You can hear it if you listen, that subtle discomfort, that feeling that something you always believed isn't quite true anymore. And your mind is terrified, because the mind's job is to keep things the same, to maintain the story. Your story, the story of who you think you are. But that story is falling apart, and the mind knows it, so it's scrambling, trying to make this into another experience, another thing to understand, another achievement to add to your spiritual resume. But this isn't an experience. This is the end of the one who has experiences. You might be thinking, but I don't feel anything special. I don't feel enlightened. I don't feel different. Good. That's perfect. Because what you're looking for isn't a feeling. Feelings come and go. What you're looking for is what watches the feelings come and go. Right now, something in you knows. Not your mind. Your mind is still confused, still asking questions, still trying to grasp this. But underneath all that noise, something knows. Something has always known. And it's starting to remember itself. This is the threshold, the place between the dream and waking up. You're not quite asleep anymore, but you haven't opened your eyes yet. And in this in-between place, everything is possible. Everything is about to shift. The click. That's what people call it when it happens. When everything suddenly makes sense. Not because you figured it out, but because you stopped trying to figure it out. You stopped. And in that stopping, it became obvious. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The click doesn't happen because you did something right. It happens because you finally gave up doing anything at all. You got tired. Tired of seeking. Tired of trying. Tired of the whole game. And in that exhaustion, something else appears. 24 hours from now, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember watching this, and you'll laugh, because it was always so simple, so obvious. Right here, right now, nothing to find, nothing to achieve. Just this. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. The mind wants to know what happens next. It wants the steps, the method, the technique. But there are no steps from here to here. You're already here. You've always been here. You just believed the story that you weren't. So what do you do for the next 24 hours? Nothing. Everything. It doesn't matter. Because whether you meditate or watch television, whether you sit in silence or go about your day, The click is coming. It's already on its way, like dawn. You can't make the sun rise faster by staring at the horizon, but you can stop running. You can stop seeking. You can just be here, exactly as you are, for these next 24 hours. Not trying to be spiritual, not trying to be enlightened, just being. Simple being. And in that being, without you noticing exactly when, something shifts. The one who was seeking realizes there's nothing to seek. The one who was lost realizes there was never anywhere to get to. The one who was confused realizes confusion was just another thought passing through. This is the threshold. You're standing on it right now. And 24 hours from now, you won't be standing on it anymore. Because there won't be anyone standing. There will just be this. Whatever this is. And it will be enough. It will be everything. Let's talk about what happens in that click. Not because understanding it makes it happen, but because your mind will relax when it sees there's nothing to do. Your brain is wired to protect you. That's its job. Keep you alive. Keep you safe. And for millions of years, that meant keeping everything predictable. The same. Known. Because the unknown could kill you. So when something threatens to change your entire sense of who you are, the brain treats it like a tiger in the bushes. Red alert. Shut it down. Go back to what's familiar. Even if what's familiar is suffering. This is why people can hear the truth 1,000 times and it doesn't land. Not because they're not ready. Not because they're not spiritual enough. But because the brain literally blocks it. It's doing its job. Protecting you from what it thinks is danger. But here's the interesting part. The brain can't block what isn't coming from outside. It can only block information, experiences, ideas coming in from the world. But this isn't coming from outside. This is what you already are. So the brain gets confused. It's trying to block something that isn't actually arriving. It's trying to prevent something that's already here. Like trying to keep the ocean out of the ocean. And in that confusion, there's a gap. A moment where the defense system doesn't know what to do. And in that gap, the click happens. Not because anything changed, but because the brain stopped blocking what was always true. This video, it's designed for that gap, not to give you new information, but to create a moment where your defenses don't know what to defend against. Because I'm not telling you to become something. I'm telling you that you already are. The mind hears this and says, okay, so I already am. Great. Now what? And that now what is the trap. Because there is no now what. There's just now. This. What's happening right here. But the mind can't accept that. It needs a project, a goal, something to move toward. So it turns even this into another seeking, another thing to achieve. I'll watch this video and then I'll get it. Then I'll be enlightened. Then everything will be better. No, that's not how this works. This isn't about getting something you don't have. This is about seeing what you've always been. And you can't see it by looking for it. Because you're it. You're what's looking. It's like the eye trying to see itself. It can see everything except itself. Not because it's hidden, but because it's the seer. It's what makes seeing possible. So what's the click? It's when the eye stops trying to see itself and just realizes, oh, I'm the seeing. Not a thing that sees, the seeing itself. And in that moment, everything relaxes. Because there's nothing more to look for. But your mind right now is probably doing something interesting. It's taking these words and trying to figure out how to make the click happen. Okay, so I need to stop trying. But wait, isn't stopping trying also trying? And if I try to not try, then I'm still trying. So how do I stop? Just stop. Right there. That's the mechanism. That endless loop. That's what keeps the click from being obvious. Not because the loop is powerful, but because you keep feeding it attention. What if you just let the loop keep looping? Don't try to stop it. Don't try to quiet your mind. Don't try to be present. Just let it all be exactly as it is. The thinking, the confusion, the seeking. Let it all happen. And something very interesting happens when you stop fighting your own mind. It keeps going for a while, maybe a long while. But you're not in it anymore. You're watching it. And the watching isn't involved in what's being watched. That's the shift. Not from a bad state to a good state. Not from confusion to clarity. But from being the thoughts to being the space where thoughts happen. And that space, that's what you are. That's what you've always been. The next 24 hours, this is what's happening. Your mind is going to keep doing its thing. Seeking, questioning, trying to understand. And underneath all that, something else is waking up. The witness, the awareness, the nobody who's been watching this whole show. You don't have to do anything to wake it up. It's already awake. It's been awake the whole time. You've just been so identified with the show that you forgot you're the audience. And sometimes, in the middle of the most ordinary moment, you'll feel it. A gap, a pause, a moment where there's no thought, no seeking, no story. Just this, whatever this is. And in that moment, you'll know, not with your mind, but with something deeper. That's the click. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's the quietest thing that ever happened. But it changes everything. Because once you see you're not the show, you can never fully believe in it again. The mechanics are simple. Stop looking out there for what's right here. Stop trying to become what you already are. Stop seeking the end of seeking. Just stop. Be still. And in that stillness, without you doing anything, the click happens. Or it doesn't. And that's perfect too. Because whether it clicks or doesn't click, you're still what you are. The click doesn't make you real. You're real either way. The click just makes it obvious. So relax. You're not trying to achieve something here. You're not trying to get somewhere. You're just watching these words. Just being here. And that's enough. That's always been enough. So it clicked. Or maybe it's about to. Or maybe you're not sure if it did. That's okay. Because after the click, life doesn't suddenly become perfect. It becomes real. Here's what people don't tell you. After you wake up, you still have to live. You still go to work. You still pay bills. You still stub your toe and it hurts. The difference is, you're not lost in the story anymore. Before the click, you were the movie. Every scene felt completely real. Every drama felt urgent. Every problem felt like life or death. After the click, you're still watching the movie, but you remember you're in a theater. The thoughts keep coming. That doesn't stop. The mind doesn't disappear. But you're not identified with it anymore. Thoughts arise like clouds in the sky, and you're the sky. The clouds don't bother you. They're just passing through. Some people expect enlightenment to feel like permanent bliss, like walking around in some ecstatic state all the time. But that's just another story, another expectation. The truth is simpler and more ordinary than that. After the click, you're just here, present. Not trying to be present, not practicing presence, just naturally here, because there's nowhere else to be. The seeking stopped, the running stopped, and what's left is this simple being. But here's what can happen. The mind, which loved seeking, will try to create new seeking. Okay, I get it now. But how do I go deeper? How do I maintain this? How do I make sure I don't lose it? You can't lose what you are. That's the whole point. Before the click, you thought you needed to find yourself. After the click, you realize you were never lost. The search was the only problem. And sometimes you'll forget. You'll get pulled back into the drama. Someone will say something, and suddenly you're upset. You're back in the story. But now there's a difference. You catch yourself faster. You see what's happening, and you laugh. That laughter is important. Before, you took everything so seriously. Your problems, your seeking, your spiritual path, all so serious. After the click, you see the cosmic joke. You were always what you were looking for, like a fish searching for water. People will notice something different about you. They won't be able to name it. But there's a quality, a stillness. Not the stillness of someone trying to be still, but the natural stillness of someone who's stopped running. Some will be attracted to this. They'll want what you have, and you'll want to tell them, I don't have anything. I just stopped believing I didn't have it. But they won't understand. Not yet. They're still in their 24 hours before the click. Your relationships will change, not because you're trying to change them, but because you're not playing the old games anymore. You're not reacting from the old wounds. You're not defending the old story. And people won't know what to do with that. Some relationships will deepen. Some will fall away. Both are perfect. Because you're not holding on anymore. You're not trying to make people stay or make them understand. You're just being. And some people resonate with that being, and some don't. The world will still try to pull you into its drama. The news, the problems, the urgency. And sometimes you'll get pulled in, but less and less, because you see through it now. You see it's all just thoughts, just stories, just the mind doing what the mind does. After the click, you don't become superhuman. You become more human, more real, less defended, less pretending. You stop trying to be spiritual and you just are. Whatever you are, however that looks. And here's the beautiful thing. You stop comparing. Before, you were always measuring yourself against others. Am I as enlightened as that teacher? Am I doing it right? Am I there yet? After the click, those questions are seen as nonsense. There's no there. There's only here. You might still have preferences. You might still like certain things and not like other things. That doesn't go away. But you're not attached to your preferences. When life doesn't go the way you prefer, you don't collapse. You just notice. Oh, that's interesting. Life is going this way instead. This is freedom. Not freedom from life, but freedom within life. You're still here, still living, still experiencing, but you're not imprisoned by it anymore. You're not defined by it. You're the space where it all happens. 24 hours ago, you watched the first part of this video, and something started. Maybe you noticed it, maybe you didn't. But underneath, all the thinking, all the questioning, all the seeking, something shifted. Not because you did something right, but because you stopped doing anything wrong. There was never anything wrong with you. That's the final understanding. You were always this. Always free, always whole, always enough. You just believed a story that said you weren't, and now you see the story for what it is, just a story. So what do you do now? Nothing special. You live, you breathe, you do what needs to be done, but you do it from this understanding, from this knowing, and that makes all the difference. If this video changed something in you, Write in the comments, "I am already home." Write it as your reminder, your anchor, for the times when you forget and get lost in the story again. Because you will forget, and you will remember, and you will forget again. Until one day, the remembering becomes continuous. Not because you're maintaining it, but because the forgetting just stops happening. You rest in what you are, naturally, effortlessly. Finally, nobody